Okay, so welcome back to this episode of configuring the secure network topology. I'm going to actually make one change here. Packet Tracer now has the 5506, and what I'm going to do is disconnect from the 5505. I'm going to connect over to the 5506, and what I'm doing here is disconnecting these and applying them back into the same location, so I don't have to change anything else here. And the 5506, the difference between the 5506 and the 5505 is that 5505 is a 10 megabit per second, and the 5506 is actually a gigabit, and so it's quite a bit faster. Something that you should learn how to configure. So I'm going to actually delete the 5505 here. Now, I just highlighted and pressed the delete button, and now I'm going to hit escape so that it removes the delete function. Okay, so we're actually going to go into the command line here, and we'll do our enable. What we'll do here is we're going to do a show run to start with, and you're going to notice that it actually has some configuration inside, and so we're going to do sort of check this. So 1.1 is inside, 2 is outside, and then 1 is configured. So if we saw configuration that we didn't really like, we would want to do an erase, start, and reload. I'm not really seeing anything here that I'm really discouraged by. The outside do want to take off the DHCP address. And let's see here, do we have that on? /2, and we'll do no IP DHCP, I think will be the command. Let's back up here and look at it. I'm not sure why I'm not remembering that particular command. Address DHCP. Okay, so and one of the other things that is different about the 5506 that I like a lot better is that it's not doing the VLAN scenario. I like that a lot. So that puts the configuration more back in line with what we would do with an enterprise level. So let's put an IP address on our 1.2, which would be IP add. It's 11.12.team.2. And we'll do a no shut on that. Let's see what else we need to work on here. G1/3, and we'll put an IP address on that one of 172.6.16.1. we can no shut that one. Let's see if we can. Okay, so let's do a shell run here. And so we have for our DMZ, we need to do int g 1/3 g1/3. Maybe I'll eventually get it right. And we do need to go ahead and put our security level. Oops. And let's set that one at 50. And we'll name this interface DMZ. Before we forget it, let's name ASA on here, and we can do the enable password class, and we can do the class, and now it's time to create some network objects. Really quickly before we do network objects, let's do some static routing here. I want to put a default static route out to the internet here, a quad 0, using the 13.1, which is this address here. That's the next hop. And then let's do route inside for these networks that are down here. Now, we can get to this router, but we can't get to these networks down here. So we need a route inside for each of these. And we'll do okay, so to get to the 1.0 network, the 2.0 network, the 3.0 network, those are all on the other side of the 192.168.0 network. So let's get those in, just so we don't have to worry about forgetting those. And let's do a shell run really quickly here to verify our addresses. And this one, actually, the address is incorrect, isn't it? So we need that inside to be 192.168.0.1. So let's go back and do that really quickly. At the right thing. So it's on int g1.1, is that correct? And we'll do the IP address, and it needs to be 192.168.0. It needs to be 0.1. And we'll do a no shut on that, and okay, so we're just double checking to make sure that this connection is up down this way. And then we should also be able to 11.12.13.1. So our connection is good down this way, our connection is good up this way. And then our connection is good over to this machine that we've configured. Okay, so we're pinging out to everything. Obviously, we can't ping through the router just yet. As far as we haven't modified its policy map to allow pinging. We'll do that in just a moment. Now we're going to create an access list, and what we want to do here is make sure config T, we'll do access list, and we'll call this one out to in. And we're going to just basically allow sort of any traffic in. Obviously not secure. And we're going to apply this to the outside interface coming in. So coming in from the outside, we're going to apply this access list that permits anything in. Okay, so at this point, these devices can ping up to here, and then these devices should be able to ping down to here. But what we need to do now is we want to actually make this device here accessible from the outside, and then we want to do port address translation so that these devices are able to get out and the traffic get back in. So we're going to go here. We need to be in global configuration mode, and we're going to do object network. We'll call this one for the inside network, and we're going to put everything in here in subnet 192.168.0.0. And what we want to do is to do NAT from inside to outside, and we'll use the dynamic interface. And what that means is that when a machine down here wants to get out, it will create a temporary address translation just long enough for this one conversation to happen, and then it will disappear. The other one we want to do here is the object network DMZ net, and for this one we're going to set the host 172.16.16.16 as the object, and for that object we're going to NAT from the DMZ to outside. Don't know if I'm space in there or not. We're going to do a static, which means that this translation is always going to be there, and we're going to do 11.12.13.16. And what this is going to do is this machine, because it's behind the NAT here, it's not accessible to these devices up here. But after we put this network object in here, then when a request comes in for this address 11.12.13.16, this ASA is going to convert that to 172.16.16.16 and forward it on to this particular device here. And I'm going to do a copy run start here just to save this. But let's take this one here, and let's do 11, 12, 13, 16. And this is the page that's sitting right here. Now I'm also going to go in and prove that to you a little bit better here by going to actually services, and let's take and edit the index.html, and let's say here we'll go ahead and save and overwrite that. So that now we'll come up here and we refresh it. You see, welcome to the DMZ. So that's the changes we made on this particular server here. And that means that our translation through the firewall is working at this particular point. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a class map here really quickly. And we'll call it ICMP. And we'll match the default inspection traffic. We're just setting up this class map so we can add it to our policy map. We're going to tell it to go ahead and inspect ICMP. And then we're going to add that service policy, ICMP policy to the outside interface. Now, before I added this, if I were to ping from here up to one of these devices, it would go out, and then the ASA wouldn't allow the traffic back in. But you see here, I just double checked to make sure it would work. But I pinged from here up to this device, and it went out and came back. So that's what the policy map is. While we added the policy map. Okay, so I think that should do it for this episode. I think we'll do another episode where we do some of the internal ACLs for the router to actually sort of stop some of the internal traffic. So look for that soon.